we're looking at Peter's book, Equip, and it's your personal journey to the kingdom. There's another chapter in the book, Peter, you talk about, racism, how the Bible describes Jews and Gentiles as equals in God's kingdom. Speak a bit about racism. This is a very relevant issue today. What does the Bible have to say about it?
Well, first of all, God creates each of us uniquely and purposefully. So we are created as individuals and then as families, and families of families become tribes, and tribes grow into ethnic groups or races. And all of this has a redemptive purpose to God. So there's something redemptive about our racial identity. There's something redemptive about our tribal identity. But that's why it's so significant that in the New Testament revelation, that God himself breaks down the barrier between the tribes of Israel and the rest of the world. Because this is the mother of all ethnic divisions, because it's a division that God himself mandated. Mm-hmm. He commanded the people of Israel to be separate, to be apart, to be different from all the nations of the world. But then you have this incredible revelation when Paul takes the gospel. Of course, he's following in the footsteps of Jesus, but primarily it's Paul is given this mandate. You take the gospel to the nations. And he writes in the second chapter of Ephesians about how God himself, how Jesus took on himself the enmity, the hatred that built up because of that separation. He took it in his own flesh, and by his sacrifice, he broke down the wall of division, making of the two, Jew and Gentile, one new man. And this is an incredible, powerful, pivotal point in the New Testament revelation. God himself steps into the picture and says, I nurtured Israel to be separate and to be different. And now, okay, I'm bringing the Gentiles into my kingdom as equals. And it will be every nation, every tribe, and every tongue from this point on. And so without negating the special and unique calling of Israel, but the Gentiles come in as equal members, as co-heirs of the kingdom of God through the revelation of Jesus.
Fantastic. Now, that term, one new man, comes out of Ephesians 2 and 13, and it is really what helps us to understand how all of us are equal and why racism is such an evil thing. You referenced this, and I want to pick up on it because we still have this idea, God stating that Israel are his chosen people. A lot of Gentiles, they get their back up a little bit about that term. And so kind of help people who are listening, watching, understand the uniqueness, as you put it, of this special relationship God has with Israel.
Well, chosen does not mean superior.
It's good.
It's simply that God chose Israel. And, it wasn't like a choice kind of off the cuff. And it wasn't because Israel was so deserving. God created Israel. He created Israel from one man, from Abraham. And he called Abraham and told him, I will make of you a great nation. And in you and in your people, all the families of the earth will be blessed. This was God's plan, to use one nation as his national example of the society that would be his kingdom on earth.